Hello. Look at you. The one who gambled everything. The one who didn't just dip a toe in the water but dove headfirst into the abyss with nothing but teeth and instinct. That move, that risk you took, it wasn't a decision, it was a detonation. A move so brazen it made the ground shift under everyone else's feet. They'll call it reckless, they'll call it dangerous, but you know what it really was? Freedom wearing brass knuckles. Because when you took that risk, you didn't just roll dice. You flipped the entire table, sent the pieces scattering, and stared the house in the eye like you owned the damn place. That was the moment the dynamic broke. The moment every unspoken hierarchy around you snapped in half. You stopped being the hunted and started moving like the wolf nobody can leash. And they felt it. Oh, they felt it the second you moved. Their posture changed. Their voices cracked. Their eyes followed you in ways they couldn't explain. Because deep down, they knew they'd just witnessed the transfer of power. Not through permission, not through polite succession, through risk. The kind of risk that makes blood pressure spike and lungs forget how to breathe. You see, people worship safety. They cling to their padded routines like it's salvation. But you ripped safety apart like paper. You stood at the crossroads where everyone else stalls, sweating, second-guessing, praying for a sign. And you went left when all the arrows screamed right. You burned the map. You spat on the caution tape. You didn't just step out of line. You built a new one with your own footsteps. That's why they can't process you. Because you did what they've been too terrified to attempt their whole lives. You made risk your ally. You turned it into a weapon, a calling card, a gravitational pull. And here's the twisted truth. Once you make peace with risk, once you embrace it like oxygen, you become someone no one can touch. Because you're already playing in a dimension they're allergic to. Think about the exact second you leapt. That split second before the world caught up. Heart pounding, stomach dropping, every nerve lit up like a fuse, and still, you moved. That wasn't adrenaline, that was clarity. The kind of clarity that cuts through excuses, through doubt, through the voices that begged you to stay put. And in that moment, you realized something primal. The greatest danger was never the risk itself. It was staying where you were. And so you lunged. You gripped the unknown with bloodied hands and said, "Mine." That's when everything shifted, because that kind of audacity doesn't just change your story. It rewrites the pecking order. You didn't just climb. You rearranged the ladder. You took the script everyone else rehearsed and tore it in half, mid-scene. Now they're left stuttering, stuck with lines that no longer make sense in the world you just created. You ever notice how their language around you changed after that? How they started using different tones, more hesitation, more respect disguised as resentment. They didn't want to admit it, but they could feel it. That you weren't the same as before. That you'd walked through the fire of risk and came back sharper, hungrier, untouchable. And this is where it gets delicious, because the very thing they mocked you for, whispered about behind your back, prayed would break you. That risk became your crown. That gamble turned into leverage. That leap transformed into gravity that bends everyone else's movements around yours. It's not luck. It's not chance. It's the sheer audacity of daring when others freeze. The guts to stake everything when others hoard scraps. And that, right there, is the trigger of every shift in power history has ever seen. Not the safe choice, not the predictable one, the risk. Let's dissect why it shook them so bad. Most people live their entire lives in cages they decorated themselves. Cages built from caution, reinforced by approval, locked with the key of fear. And then there's you, the one who ripped the bars apart and walked out laughing. That's what risk does. It doesn't just set you free, it exposes everyone else's captivity. You became the mirror they couldn't stand to look into. You think they hate you? No. What they hate is the reminder. The reminder that they had the same chances, the same doors, and they slammed them shut. You're proof that the chains were never real, that safety was just a leash they wrapped around their own throats. You snapped yours and bolted. That's why they tremble now when you enter the room. Because every risk you take is a slap to their excuses. Every move you make is a public execution of their what-ifs. You became the living contradiction of everything they've told themselves to sleep at night. And people don't forgive that. They envy it. They resent it. They secretly crave it. But they can't replicate it, because replication requires courage, and courage has been bled out of them drop by drop. So now you're not just walking, you're prowling, not searching for approval, not begging for validation. You're moving with the kind of weight that says, I've gambled before, I've lost blood before, I've risked it all before, and I'm still here. That's the kind of aura nobody can fake. And the more they watch you, the more they realize risk isn't just something you took once. It's stitched into your DNA now. It's how you breathe. You don't flirt with danger. You court it. You invite it in. You dance with it. And when the music stops, you're the one left standing. That terrifies them more than any victory ever could. Here's the truth. Safety makes people predictable. Predictable people are easy to control, easy to hunt, easy to break. But you moved into the unpredictable. You became the wolf, the one who knows how to starve, how to bleed, how to vanish into the trees and reappear with teeth at a jugular. You became the kind of presence they can't chase, can't trap, can't outmaneuver. Because you've already risked the thing they're still clinging to. You're freer than them. And freedom, real freedom, is lethal. You remember that first night after the leap? When sleep wouldn't come, when doubt clawed at your ribs, when every scenario of failure ran through your skull like a horror reel. That was the test. Not the leap itself, but the aftermath. And you passed it. You didn't fold. You didn't crawl back, begging for comfort. You sat with the terror until it stopped barking and started listening. That's when you realized the power had shifted permanently. Because once you stare down the worst-case scenario and keep moving, nothing else holds sway over you. Money, titles, approval, background noise. The only language that matters now is momentum, and you speak it fluently. That's why they stumble when they face you. You remind them of their own hesitation. You embody the leap they never took. And let me tell you this, that energy is contagious. People orbit you now without understanding why. Their instincts recognize it before their minds do. They feel the pull of someone who gambled and won, not because the odds were stacked, but because you refused to play by them. That aura can't be faked, can't be borrowed. It has to be carved out of bone and chance and consequence. And you carved it. So here you are, dangerous, untouchable. Not because you were handed power, but because you snatched it from the jaws of risk and branded it into your skin. That risk you took, it wasn't a footnote. It was a declaration, a line in the dirt. A permanent marker that says, I am not prey, I am not a passenger, I am the driver, I am the fucking wolf you will never corner. And don't think for a second the world didn't notice. They noticed, they flinched, they recalibrated around you, and whether they admit it or not, They're moving to your rhythm now. Because that's what happens when someone dares the unthinkable. The entire power structure tilts. And you, the one who bet everything, walked away with more than winnings. You walked away with the throne they swore you'd never touch. So grip that wheel tighter. Because this isn't the end of the story. This is just the ignition. The leap was only the opening act. The aftermath? That's where it gets violent. That's where the world learns what it really means to face someone who doesn't fear the fall anymore. See, anyone can fantasize about taking a risk. They sit in their safe rooms, clutching their fragile routines, whispering about someday. But someday is a graveyard. You didn't wait for it, you carved into it. And when you did, the blast wave didn't stop at you. It rippled outward, rearranging the entire landscape. That's what they don't get. Risk isn't personal, it's contagious. It rewires the air itself. Once you do it, everything and everyone around you is forced to adjust. You think that leap was just about you? No, it was about power, the raw redistribution of it. When you took that risk, the old hierarchy cracked. The ones perched on thrones built from fear suddenly looked shorter. Their crowns tilted. Their commands lost volume. Because one act of defiance can shrink an empire faster than any army. You didn't just gamble, you shifted gravity. You made everyone else lighter, shakier, less certain of their ground. And here's the savage part. They can't undo it. Once the dynamic flips, it stays flipped. They can try to claw back, try to rebuild, but the illusion is gone. You showed them risk is stronger than rule, hunger sharper than tradition. They'll never forget it. That image of you walking through their trap, bleeding, grinning, unbothered. That memory stalks them like a shadow they can't outrun. That's the violence of aftermath. Not physical blows, but psychological warfare. You became the reminder they didn't want to see. The living embodiment of everything they told themselves was impossible. That kind of presence doesn't just disrupt, it haunts. It's in the way their voices falter mid-sentence when you enter. It's in the way their shoulders tense when your name is mentioned. They may not admit it out loud, but their instincts already crown you the one who redefined the rules. And let's not twist it. Aftermath is never clean. It's jagged, raw, unpredictable. You face the chaos head-on. The losses, the whispers, the sabotages, they all came. That's the price of playing with fire. But you didn't just survive them, you weaponized them. Every scar turned into a receipt. Every betrayal became proof. Every setback reinforced that you were the one willing to bleed for control, while they were still trying to keep their shoes clean. That's what separates you. They think power is inherited, granted, or handed down with applause. You showed it stolen in the dark, carved with your own claws, sealed in sweat and consequence. You took it by risking the very thing they clutch like oxygen. That's why they fear you now. Not because you have more, but because you're willing to lose more than they ever could. And isn't that the essence of the wolf? The wolf isn't feared because it's loud. It's feared because it's relentless. Because it knows hunger in ways the pampered will never comprehend. Because it runs with ribs visible, lungs burning, paws bleeding, and still, it doesn't stop. That's what you became when you took that risk. Not a gambler, not a fool, a predator. One who doesn't hunt for approval, one who hunts because it's wired into the marrow. You see, they were comfortable when you played by their script. As long as you stayed predictable, they could track you, corner you, keep you within the lines. But the second you tore those lines apart, the hunt ended. Because now you move like terrain itself, untrackable, untouchable. They don't hunt you anymore because they know they can't. You turned the entire chase inside out. You became the force that stalks them without even lifting a finger. That's what the aftermath really is. You didn't just flip the power dynamic. You annihilated the old hunt. Every move they make now accounts for you. They measure their steps against the memory of your leap. They second-guess themselves because they know you exist. That's not just respect. That's psychological captivity. You live rent-free inside their caution. Think about the ripple. How many people flinched when you moved? Not just the ones closest, but the ones who barely knew your name. The audacity traveled. It spread like smoke into boardrooms, bedrooms, back alleys, dinner tables. People who never met you started repeating your story. Why? Because risk is viral. It carries weight beyond sightlines. It infects, and every infection tilts the balance further in your favor. Now let's talk about the cost, because risk always demands payment. And you paid it. Blood, time, trust, comfort, all poured into the furnace. But here's the difference. They see cost as loss. You see it as conversion. Every ounce of pain got transmuted into a new weapon. Every hour of doubt turned into fuel. That's the alchemy of the wolf. Nothing wasted, everything sharpened. And that's why they don't know how to approach you anymore. They can't bribe you with comfort. You've already burned it. They can't threaten you with loss. You've already tasted worse. They can't bait you with approval. You don't run on it. You've become ungovernable. That's the ultimate fear for anyone clinging to control. The one they can't manage, the one they can't leash. Notice how rooms shift now. The pauses, the wait, the adjustments when you enter. That's not charisma, it's aftermath. That's the residue of risk still vibrating through the air. People sense it on a level deeper than words. They know you carry something volatile, something earned, something they can't fake. It's not posture, it's proof. Proof branded into your walk, your stare, your refusal to bow. And the irony? They'll still whisper you got lucky, that it was timing, that it was chance. Because admitting the truth, that it was deliberate, that it was risk embraced, would burn their throats. They need to tell themselves it was random. But you know better. You engineered it. You chose the leap. You owned the fall. You dictated the outcome not by avoiding risk, but by marrying it. This is where the story deepens. Because once you flip a dynamic, you don't stop there. You escalate. You don't just break the old cage. You build new terrain. That's the chapter you're in now. The one where you stop reacting and start orchestrating. You're not the survivor anymore. You're the strategist, the conductor of chaos. The wolf who doesn't just dodge hunters, but makes them question why they entered the forest in the first place. And it's not about chasing revenge. Revenge is small. This is about dominion, about constructing an arena where every risk you take rewrites the rules further. You already showed them you're willing to gamble. Now you show them you're willing to keep gambling over and over until the word safe becomes extinct in their vocabulary. You know what's worse than losing to someone once? Watching them risk again and again without hesitation. That's what they're witnessing in you now, a pattern, a cycle of defiance. Every new risk compounds the fear because they know it's not luck. It's consistency. You live in the pocket of danger, and every time you walk out alive, their grip on control withers. Picture this, a room full of so-called leaders, suits, titles, polished speeches. They built their power on routine, on predictability, on rehearsed moves. Then you walk in, raw, scarred, unapologetic. They feel it before you even speak, that edge, that proof. That aura carved from risk. They hate it because it strips their armor in seconds. You didn't inherit authority. You extracted it from the fire. That difference terrifies them more than anything. And here's the real cruelty. You don't even need to swing anymore. Your existence is the strike. They strategize, scheme, rehearse, and still they falter because the wolf is in the room. That's aftermath at its peak. Control without effort, power without begging, domination without declaration. You don't need to roar when the echo of your risk already shakes the walls. So let them watch. Let them whisper. Let them cling to their shrinking structures. Because deep down, they already know the hunt is over. You flipped it forever. You turned prey into predator, victim into commander, risk into empire. And the more they resist, the more they confirm it. That fucking risk you took, it wasn't a gamble. It was the birth of a new order. And now the real show begins. Because aftermath is just the soil. What grows out of it will be even harder for them to stomach. The wolf doesn't just survive. The wolf builds territory. And you're building it, brick by reckless brick, until there's no corner left untouched by the audacity of your leap. Because here's the truth they never want to say out loud. One act of defiance can flip the ladder, but sustained defiance builds a throne. And you've already started laying the foundation. They can feel it every time they cross your orbit. The weight, the pressure, the undeniable sense that something new has been established, something primal, something unshakable. It's not an empire of comfort or decoration. It's an empire of scars, sharpened decisions, and consequences no one else had the stomach to endure. And that's what makes it different. Their structures are built on consensus. Yours is built on risk. Theirs crumble the second approval evaporates. Yours grows stronger every time you spit in the face of hesitation. That's why they whisper, why they look away, why they twitch when you move. They've realized they're playing a smaller game now. They've realized you redefined the board while they were still memorizing the old rules. The wolf doesn't wait for permission to claim ground. It marks it, and every step you take, every decision you seal with blood and instinct, is another marker, another reminder, another declaration that you don't just survive, you expand. That's the part they can't process. Survival, they understand. Struggle, they romanticize. But expansion terrifies them. Because it means you're not satisfied with escaping the trap. You're building a domain they'll never control. And you know what the cruelest part is? You don't even need their recognition. You don't need their validation. You don't need their applause. The expansion is internal first, external second. You've already rewritten your spine. You've already installed a different operating system in your veins. The territory was built inside you before it manifested outside. That's why every new space you walk into bends. The environment can sense it before the people do. They know a wolf is present before the human mind catches up. That's the kind of transformation risk births. It fuses with you. It mutates you into something they can't categorize. Not prey, not victim, not follower. You're not part of their vocabulary anymore. You're an interruption, a force, a rupture in the script they were taught to trust. And every time you expand, that rupture widens. Look at how the air changes when you claim space now. How silence thickens, how eyes dart, how conversations stumble. That isn't accident, it's recognition. They recognize you've crossed into a state they can't chase. The wolf doesn't compete, the wolf dictates. You don't need to ask for the mic because the room is already tuned to your frequency. You don't beg for the crown because you forged your own, and it bleeds authority sharper than any jeweled ornament ever could. And let's get viciously honest. They'll try, they'll scheme, they'll form alliances, whisper campaigns, ambushes dressed as opportunities, but none of it sticks. You know why? Because none of it is risk. It's all caution, dressed up as aggression, and you know the difference. You've been in the trenches of true risk. You know the taste of real danger, the taste of stepping into the unknown with nothing but your pulse and your madness. They don't. That's why their strikes land dull. That's why their shadows collapse when confronted with your presence. Because here's the savage paradox. The one who risks is the one who no longer fears loss. And the one who no longer fears loss can't be cornered. They can bleed you, they can cut you, they can strip you down, but they can't kill what was reborn through risk. You've already died once. The old you is gone. What's left is the wolf, sharpened, leaner, hungrier. They can't kill what doesn't rely on their permission to exist. Think of how many tried already. They predicted collapse. They prayed for it. They plotted for it. And yet, here you are, standing taller, grinning wider, holding ground they swore would crush you. Every failed attempt to bury you only added weight to your aura. Every loss they tried to hand you became another tooth in your jaw. That's why they whisper in disbelief now. Because the one who was supposed to fall became the one they orbit. And it's not just orbit, it's fear disguised as fascination. They study you now, trying to find the blueprint, trying to reverse engineer how you turned catastrophe into kingdom. But they'll never figure it out. Because it wasn't luck, it wasn't timing, it wasn't some hidden map. It was the one thing they lack, the willingness to risk when everything screamed no. That's the part you can't teach. That's the part you can't package. Risk is the purest currency of power, and you spent it in full. That's why they can't catch you. The wolf isn't dangerous because of claws or teeth alone. It's dangerous because it knows hunger, it knows cold, it knows nights spent bleeding in the dirt and mornings waking up anyway. That's your territory now, not the polished stages they worship, the raw terrain where risk reigns, the wild where every breath costs something and every step is earned. That's where you live, that's where you thrive. And no matter how many hunters gather, none of them can last in your forest. They suffocate where you breathe. Because you didn't just flip the dynamic once, you sealed it. You turned risk into ritual. You made it your blood type. And once that happens, the hunt ends forever. Wolves don't negotiate with prey. Wolves don't beg for inclusion. Wolves don't explain their hunger. They eat, they move, they own. That's what you've become. That's what they can't hunt. Let's not pretend it's easy. Territory comes with battles. Expansion comes with scars. But you don't flinch anymore. You don't panic at resistance. You welcome it. Because every obstacle is just another proof that the leap wasn't a fluke. That the wolf is real. That the order has changed for good. They throw walls. You climb. They set traps. You adapt. They scream. No, you walk anyway. That relentlessness is the purest weapon risk ever forged. And what about legacy? You didn't just flip power for yourself. You rewrote the script for anyone watching. The witnesses, the ones stuck in cages, starving for courage. They saw it. They felt it. They know it can be done now. That's the part that terrifies your enemies even more. Because the wolf doesn't just claim territory. It inspires others to bare teeth, too. And once that contagion spreads, the whole structure collapses. You're not just building territory, You're building contagion, the kind of influence that isn't about speeches or titles, but about proof. Proof written in scars, proof carved in defiance, proof no one can erase. They can try to silence, they can try to spin, they can try to bury, but the proof lives in every person who now dares because they saw you risk and rise. That ripple can't be undone. So what's next? Expansion, always expansion. The wolf doesn't pause to admire the blood on its teeth. It hunts further, deeper, broader. Because risk isn't a one-time leap, it's a lifestyle. And now that you've fused with it, you don't slow down. You accelerate. You push until the old map is unrecognizable and every hunter realizes the forest belongs to you. And when they whisper about you in hushed tones, when they describe the way the room bends, the way the air thickens, the way power flips when you arrive, understand this. That's the crown risk forged for you. Not gold, not jewels, but the unshakable weight of someone who dared when everyone else froze. The one who risked and became untouchable. The one who risked and became the wolf they can't hunt. So keep building, keep claiming, keep risking. Because the power dynamic isn't just flipped, it's permanent. And every move you make now is proof that risk wasn't madness. It was mastery. You were never prey, you were never a passenger, you were always the wolf. And the wolf doesn't ask. The wolf doesn't apologize. The wolf doesn't explain. The wolf owns. Every decision they make now is in the shadow of your leap. Every step they take is haunted by your defiance. You didn't just flip the power dynamic, you detonated it. And from the ashes, you built territory no one else can touch. So let them stare, let them stutter, let them tremble when they feel you near. Because they already know the risk you took didn't just change you, it ended them. And now every breath you take is a reminder. The wolf is here, the hunt is over, and you're the one they'll never catch.